Over here in Elgin, do a quick review of this roof. Let me show you what I look for on an inspection. So a couple things we look at when we get to this point is how the gutters are attached. Are they attached through the gutter apron? How many layers are there? There's 2 layers here, looks like. Typically you want to slide underneath there. Look how frail that is. Want to slide underneath it. See if you can feel another one or... Nope. So it's a 2-layer roof. You got the hook strapped to the top over here because there's no fascia board. Then look at the condition. You want to look at the pitch. There's a app that you can on the side here. It'll tell you it's a 712. And based on the condition of the roof, this is 2 layers on one roof. And you can tell a lot of corners are cut here. One, when you're replacing shingles, the best method of replacement is to take the shakes off and then tuck a new piece of metal underneath it. Now, sometimes that might not be financially feasible, but anybody that does this can't warranty the flashing work. Over here, there's supposed to be like a fascia board and some step flashing, so like these baby tins that go underneath the shingles to let the water go around it so this doesn't happen where it rots out. And you can see they use the flat roofing material up here. You can tell that the wood is rotting all around. You got animal feces here, looks like raccoon poop. They used a modified bitumen on top or something of that sort. We got no step flashing here. And now here on the sides, I used step flashing, but it's underneath the second layer and you can see it right there. And then here's the old flashing, but it's tucked behind the cedar and it's angled inward towards the house. So when water dries down, look at that. It's probably getting in the house right there. You're supposed to have actually go stick out. It's called a kick out flashing. It lets the water drive out and away from the house. 2, they put these on top of the other ones and covered up the shakes. Luckily, it's got a lot of cover here because of the large overhang, but you can tell water does get back here. And it'll cause the roof to wall penetrations to leak or rot out. So any water that's going to get here, especially in this corner piece right here, it's going to cause it to rot and swell. I believe it was an 1.75 inch gap from the bottom of the shake to the roof. Otherwise, it's going to sift all that water up and swell again, causing you to further have to replace more shakes later down the line. You can see they're having issues right there. When they did the second layer, obviously it's almost impossible to get the shingles in right there. I probably would have done it a little bit differently. Here's another way to tell how many layers there are. Looks like this portion of the roof also has 2 layers of roofing. And you can tell that the plywood is sagging right there. It's full of problems. You can tell the homeowners did a good job trying to maintain it for the time being, but you got wind damage everywhere throughout. And you could tell that this repair was done here, but the problem with this repair is when you put in the new shingles, you're damaging the surrounding shingles trying to put it in. You can see they seal them down everywhere, but you know, they're cut. Like this one has a cut in it, so it's letting water underneath. And then around it, this might not even be, I mean, the wind may have caused it to blow off, but originally the roofer lifting the shingle up to get this one underneath, or this one underneath, causes to fail prematurely. Now, again, let's not kid ourselves, it's past its prime. Aware of is one, if you do have an insurance policy, do you have an actual cash value policy or replacement cost policy? If you have a replacement cost policy, next question is, what percentage is the deductible? Is it a percentage of the total rebuild value of your home? It could be like 1% or 2.5% is the highest I think I've seen it. Or is it an actual cash value policy where they say, okay, your roof is about 25 years old, it's a 30-year roof, we're going to depreciate it 25%, and then minus your deductible, you're barely getting any money out of it. So, we shouldn't always rely on our insurance for sometimes when they say they're going to cover us, they owe for it. Look at that big bulge right there. I don't know if you guys see that right here. See, it goes downward and then up and then back down. I know I said there's 2 layers on here. I don't recommend 2 layers. Reason being is the second layer is usually a band-aid. And you can't do all the flashings correctly when you do it typically. So I don't recommend it. Plus it'll cost you a lot more to move it later because it's got twice as much waste. So picture you have 2,000 square feet of roofing. Well, after the second layer of roofing, you have 4,000 square feet of roofing. You can't do a 3rd layer, so now you're forced to remove 4,000 square feet of roofing. Type of shingle, which is why you see kind of like, if your roof looks like this, and you have wind damage, it's probably claim worthy. You just have to find the right person to help you with it. I mean, this is beyond terrible, but normally you'll see it curl like this around the edges of the shingle. That's a tell sign that your roof is past its prime. You're worth considering doing a claim. It also is probably a good time to replace your roof regardless. So here's some more wind damage, some more over there. And you got, look, it's the organic mat, it's falling apart. And let's go back down to this side. See, when they did this roof, they kept the original flashings on there around the pipe boot. Look at the hole in that thing. So that's water seeping in behind there. You may not notice the water inside, but over time you'll see that your wall or something's rotting out or floorboard, and this is typically why it happens. You see they tarred around it in the past, which probably means it's had problems as well. And you can see they did a nice loop-de-loop around this thing. It's not really a good way of doing a roof. You can tell that there's a lot of maintenance that was attempted on this roof as well. Here's another one of those stacks. This one's in better shape than the other one, but again, you got cracks in it. You want to replace it, you're replacing a roof. But let's keep going. Take a look at the other side. Hold here safely. High probability of a leak is at your rake ends. That's the parts where you don't have gutters. That's your rake ends on the gable ends. Like that house has a gable right there. That top portion right there is your rake. So this part, look, when water comes in, it goes down that rake and goes underneath the flashing, and it'll cause the fascia to rot out, which it looks like that's happening a lot over here. Here's another example of fascia rotting. See here, you're supposed to put those baby tins or step flashing, otherwise interchangeable names, but you run it up underneath the shingle and it allows the water to divert in front of the fascia so it doesn't rot out like it is here. And here, check this out. This one actually has 3 layers of roofing. Wow. Got 3 layers of roofing on this part. 212 pitch, you have to have a flat roofing material. It means for any time it's a 212 pitch, you're required to have ice and water shield on it, or flat roofing material. If it's a 312, you have to have ice and water shield up the whole entire pitch, and then the shingles. And I bet you that's not the case here, especially with 3 layers of roofing. Another plumbing stack, some more missing shingles, and then see what I'm talking about? You could see the step flashing right there, and you could see how this is all soaking up that water and getting damaged and rotting out. My point is, if you're going to do a roof, remove it properly, replace it properly. Otherwise, the costs become astronomical. Like in this case, there's fascia that needs to be replaced. There's shakes that have to be replaced. It's not going to be a cheap repair. It's going to cost you more later on. And if an inspector does catch this, they're going to bring all this stuff up, which is going to drive the price of your property down. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like, bows right there, and it bows at the end over there as well. So basically, if you ever have an inspection on your home and you're buying a new home, these are telltale signs of issues that are going to come up and cost you a lot of money in the end. So although there's inspectors up there, most of them will only do a pop over, which is at the best, where they'll put their head over the roof, take a peek at it and give you their best humble opinion or professional opinion. And in our case, what I recommend is you get a licensed roofer to come out there, pay a little bit extra, get him to come out, tell you what's wrong with the roof, document it. We use software that has live updates with pictures that we share with the homeowners after we're done. Try to find somebody who's professional that does the same for you. And remember, when the roofer's getting paid for their time to come out there, they're going to make their best effort to show you anything that's a problematic issue on that roof. As opposed to the guy who comes out here, says, I'm here for a free inspection, tries to push you into a claim that maybe you don't necessarily need. Or in this case, I would definitely recommend replacing the roof. But yesterday, I was on a customer's home where a roofer came out there for free and told him he has to replace his roof. It's leaking everywhere. It turns out it wasn't that. It was lack of insulation in certain cavities. And even if he got a brand new roof, he'd still be replaced. He'd still be having the same problems with the leaks every winter because it was something more related to moisture on the inner walls. And I was able to show it to him and demonstrate it. But again, value people's time, you value yours, you expect to get paid for your work, right? And I promise you'll get a better return on your investment having somebody come out there for any type of price in general. But yeah, Robert here with Revived Exteriors. If you guys are looking for a qualified roofer in the Illinois area, I'd love to be your roofer. And if you're outside of Illinois and you're looking at this roof, why don't you comment, give me an idea what you think of this roof, what you would do, how would you approach it. I know there was a claim filed on it. It had an ACV policy. It was only partially paid for percentage-wise. So it's not the insurance company's fault. It's not a bad insurance. It's just the insurance company did their due diligence, said this roof is past its prime, and this is what we're willing to insure it for. All right, guys, check it out. Thanks.